Hello, and welcome back to Pints with Pals. I'm Mike, your northernmost host, and I'm joined with...
Jeremy, the one that's in the Bible Belt, Tennessee.
I never
So
understood that term, but we'll get into
the
that
Bible
later.
Belt, yeah, I think it's like a region like that big.
Okay.
Anyways, so today is Orval Day. And so what is Orval Day? Orval Day is a celebration of the beer Orval, I guess, in a way. I think it's been going on, they say, for 1,000 years is what I looked up. I don't know how true that really is, but the legend's pretty neat. Well, first off, there was a princess who accidentally dropped her ring into a spring, and a trout returned it. I don't know how they got beer from that, but that's just what happens. So on Orval Day, devotees of the Orval Trappist get together, and they end up making this really fine beer that gets imported to the United States, called Orval, and looks like a what did I say? A
Bowling pin?
Yeah. Or what was that one thing that we played in Cincinnati?
Duck pin.
Duck pin. It's more of a size of a duck pin.
Yeah.
That's a phrase.
I really like the shape of the bottle. It was very unique. I feel like I've seen it before. I have never heard of this though. I mean, I've the logo looks familiar to me, but I've never seen it or thought, hey, I want to try and drink that. But here is the podcast and the chance. And I feel like I like the idea of these kind of days. Like, I didn't realize that Oberon Day was a thing, and this day is a thing. And we could potentially, if we do barrel aged some other stuff, we can kind of get that in there too a little bit, or at least a special that kind of incorporates that. So.
Well, we got other days coming. We got like Cinco de Mayo coming up around the corner, so we can get some like Mexican lagers on here. Maybe talk about some history of that stuff, how that got originated down there, because that's a pretty interesting story how that one happened. So one thing I thought was interesting. This was the first Trappist beers actually hit the U.S. borders. Like the other ones weren't even here yet. So I keep saying Trappist. So do you know what Trappist monks are, Mike?
I had no idea until you brought up this beer. I was very surprised to read about them.
Yeah, so pretty much they're part of the Roman Catholic Church. They're like their own order of them. And basically what they do is they live a very secluded life. So they spend all their times on like prayer and worship and stuff like that. And to help make ends meet, they make certain items. Like some monasteries will make cheese and bread. Some will make like scriptures, paraphernalia, scriptures. Quite messing this all up. I apologize. They're making stuff.
Yeah.
Then the other ones, they end up making beer, and the beer gets sold throughout the world for the most part. It helps them make ends meet at their monastery. So some other brands I could think of are like I think it's called Chimay, the CHIMAY. Le Trap is another one. I've had that one quite a few times. That one's really good. Mount St. Bernard, that's another really good one as well. Funny enough, there was one in the United States that just sadly shut down, I think, last year. It was the only monastery monk brewery. It was called Spencer's. I think it was just on the outskirts of Massachusetts. Right. Yeah, I know. It sounds really crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that we would have had any kind of brewery like that here. That's nuts.
Yeah, so you can still find their beers in some locations. I found it online for sale, and it's about $6 on up per bottle. So if you have a chance to try it, I say go for it, because once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. They're not coming back.
So the Trappist beer doesn't refer to this specific style. I mean, it's a style of beer, but not a flavor of beer. It's a style of. It's just who makes the beer, not like a style of beer. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like you can find multiple different like wheated Trappist ales. It's just who made it more so than the actual flavor. So that I didn't recognize either when I was doing some tertiary research.
So they actually have from what I could tell, there's like 4 different main styles, and I think there's other offshoots as well too. But you have like the single, a double, triple, and a quadruple, and they're all slightly different. The single, from what I understand, is just meant for the monks to drink for the most part. I mean, it's still sold, you can buy it, but I guess that's what they prefer. It's a lower ABV. This one, actually, I'm not even sure what style this is. It's a 6.9%. So if you look at the style guide, it should be a double, but should also be like a darker color. So why don't we crack these open and see what we have going on here? Because I'm excited.
Good idea to me. Whoop.
Let's see. See if we get this little. Oh, he dropped it. Let's see. Here we go. Get that noise. Oh.
No, I don't get yours because you have it muted, so you're not going to get mine either. But Mike might. Oop, there it goes.
Oh wow, yeah, beautiful. No, slighter color.
So I was surprised when I saw that it was 6.9%.
Wow, that's highly carbonated.
Yeah. Yep. Failed again.
Oh, look at that. That's highly.
Ooh.
I like that.
I do like the smell. That was quite flavorful.
I'm gonna sit for a second. Flip. Yeah, it's So
is this? Sorry, is this sold year round or is it just like one batch and then they?
I am not sure because I looked on the side of the bottle. Mine was bottled of July of last year.
Oh yeah, mine was bottled 22. Oh, it's backwards because it's not American times, like 22/3. That doesn't make any sense. It's like the 22second month and the third day. Oh. So mine was brewed literally a year ago.
Okay, so yeah, well, yours has been conditioning for a while. I want to say I could probably find this most all year long, but I'm not 100% sure. That's a good question.
It must be because, I'm guessing that unless they, well, I don't know because there's two sets of numbers. There's like it's good until either 2027 because there's 3/22, 2027 and 3/22, 2022. So it must be good for like 5 years. Yeah. Yeah. Mine did the same thing. Oops.
Yeah, so it's good for it has shelf life of 5 years. That's a long time.
I would say so.
Yeah, my head is just a monster on here. I definitely poured it. A
little heavy pour. I got to smooth mine out a little bit. So, but it's definitely got the hazy.
What is so it could be a double by color, right? It's brownish, right? And I get the fruit notes. Wait for that head to go down some.
It smells sweeter than it tastes. Okay. I was surprised by, but I mean, I did get like a lot of the head in that first sip, but it's better than I was expecting it to be.
Well, what were you expecting?
I don't know. I think I was expecting more of a wheat style. I think it's the problem that I'm having is, so one of the other beers that Jeremy had me go get was a farmhouse ale, or we're talking about farmhouse style. So I keep thinking that this is that style, and I'm grossed out by the thought of that style, just because it's
a farm.
Yeah, well, it's like open aired fermenting. It just sounds like bugs and farmhouse smell to me. So I think that's going to be and I think I keep getting that confused with this one. But I feel like this kind of reminds me of like a wheat, like a Belgian kind of wheat. Oh, I guess it makes sense. This could be if it's a triple style similar to Belgian Golden Strong Ale.
Yeah. I don't think it's a triple though. I mean, I don't know. It's bordering. But
how can we?
Triples are really pale in color. Like, think of like Bud Light in a way. Usually, they're really, really pale yellow.
So they're
and they'd be spicy. They'll have a spicy note to it. The triples will. That's what I like about those ones. Quads are really dark brown, like really super dark brown.
Yeah, I think I like those too. So this the Orval site says that sunset orange color, a fruity and slightly acidic bouquet, firm body, like a hop bitterness, and long dry finish.
So they don't really label themselves as like, we are a double, we're blah, blah. This is just our thing. This is what it is. Like you said, it has that sunset color to it, which I mean, I get that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like maybe a nice head.
Mine does not have the same head, but mine is also a year in the keg. I poured it slower too.
Yeah, that's good. They're really. Now,
It's really, really smooth for almost a 7% beer.
Which is scary.
I think that I'm trying to gauge it on like ABV, and mine is a year old. So like mine literally almost, I think probably to the day when I bought it, came out last Wednesday, a year ago last Wednesday. I don't know if that's going to really impact the flavor. I would imagine it's going to like kind of mellow it out a little bit. It's not going to be as like hot and spicy.
Right.
It says
I have a lot of yeast in the bottom of mine though.
Really? Oh, that's gonna suck then. So you're gonna need to pour it straight. I didn't pour mine all the way out. It says traditionally served in an Orval chalice, so we were supposed to have some sort of chalice, and between like 55 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm wondering if it's gonna change flavor at different. Minutes? Yeah, because mine's probably at like 38 degrees or something still.
Yeah. Right. Well, so I guess I can go back and talk about like at least the different styles of or types of Trappist beers you'd be able to find. So I talked about the single, which like I said is usually a lighter ABV, lighter in color, medium body. I've had some singles and they're pretty good. My favorites are definitely the triple and the quad. But next up to that is the double, which they say they range between 6 and 8%. That's why I keep saying this could, I guess, classify as a double, even though they don't call it that. It says it's a brown ale, which is this. It's not quite brown, but it's not brown, right? It's orangey kind of color.
Well, I would consider a brown much color, deeper, right? Yeah.
But it says that it has a bitterness, a fairly heavy body. I guess it doesn't really have a heavy body, but definitely is fruity.
So that's why I was wondering if it's closer to the triple based on the description. So I'll let you keep going. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. No, you're fine. So a triple, you just brought it up, generally is about 7 to 10% ABV, and sometimes it has like a spicy note to it. That's just from the hops, which that's one of my favorite of these styles out there. They say it's comparable to a Belgian golden strong ale, which I've not had too many plain, but I make a raspberry Belgian strong ale that's just to die for. It's so good. I love it.
I'll take your word for that.
Yep. And then I only made like 2 gallons of it.
Is that the one you had to stir like every day?
No, that was the lemonade,
that was your cider.
Strawberry cider. I stir that every day. Okay. And the quadruple is a super dark brown with like caramel, dark sugar, malty, kind of sweet. They say that is medium low to medium high hop bitterness. Like I don't find them hoppy myself. I mean, everything has hops in it, of course, but
so it's just basically the middle ground, like medium low. The way that's worded is weird to me as well. It's like the medium low, medium so high, it's like it's like in the middle. So it's not high and it's not low. It's like somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
Right. They say they have light bodies. I feel like they're more medium, if anything. And the ABV, I've seen that they say between 8 and 11%. I've seen higher than 11%. But again, those are just, for me, they're hard to find down here. Like Mike may have an easier time up in Michigan finding them stronger than that. But yeah, a good triple that's commercially made is by people that make flat tire, New Belgium. So New Belgium makes a triple for like $11, a 6-pack.
So how does a microbrewery make a beer that's monk? Because the style of Trappist is what is the monk's beer. So do they just follow it, and then because their recipe is similar to that, I guess I'm asking, is it like a champagne where champagne doesn't exist unless it's from Champagne, France? You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how a microbrewery could make a Trappist beer if they're not Trappist monks.
I don't think they can label them as a Trappist beer. I think they just call it it's a triple beer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep. Okay. Yeah. And that's where I still am confused, because Trappist isn't technically the style of beer. It's just
monasteries.
Yeah.
And there's
it's cool.
Only 13 or so. I would fact check me, but I think it's like only 13, and the bulk are in Belgium, and the rest are like there's one in France, one in Germany, one in Spain, one one in England maybe. There's not that many in the world that actually do this kind of stuff.
And I'm wondering if that's where I'm getting like the Belgian style like wheat ale essentially. What I just noticed, and I wanted to bring it up before we kind of continued, it almost has a because I said champagne, and that triggered like a holy crap. It kind of tastes like champagne a little bit, and on like the finish.
Well, it like, is really dry,
right? Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering if that's what it is, and maybe they had to use stronger yeast in order to get it up to like a 7%.
They use a Brett Myces yeast, from what I could tell, and basically, what does that do? Brett Myces yeast is a non-spore forming genus of yeast. Okay, that doesn't really tell me a whole lot. Brett Myces yeast. Crabtree positive. Yeah, I don't know. I have to do more research on this kind of yeast. But I wonder if that gives. I know it gives the acidity and dryness to it. I don't know per se if it gives it the champagne quality that you're getting, but also aging for a year, I'm sure helped as well. I'd be curious, and Mike's brought this up before, when he drinks bottle conditioned beers. It doesn't always agree with him, like his face may turn red or something along those lines. So I'd be kind of curious how he does with this one.
It's a very thick bottle. Like that bottle still feels like a full bottle, and it's completely empty.
Yeah. So for some reason your bottle looks bigger than mine. I don't know why. Maybe it's where your camera is.
I think so.
Okay.
So this is level with my face, but I keep doing this. It's like a fish. Okay. Like, look at this fish I caught. It's enormous.
I swear it was this big.
Right. It's like a full champagne bottle. Yeah, no, it's just the normal, I would say like 11 ounces or whatever the
11.2 ounces. Yeah,
11.2.
I think that's 350 milliliters or some crap like that, or 750 milliliters. I can't remember what it is.
Flows. Yeah,
I like it though.
Yeah, it's a lot cloudier because I dumped a lot of the yeast in it now. So
yeah.
But yeah.
No, I'm glad we actually got to try this. We both got the same beer. We both found it. I like it though. I mean, it's mellow.
It's weird because like if you like kind of sip on it and pull it through, like not pull it through your teeth necessarily, but like pull it above your tongue and in down, it will foam up.
Oh yeah.
So like my whole mouth was like, it just fills my mouth with foam. But not in a gross way. Like that. What the hell beer was I drinking that the other day? It smelled like it was the Smithwick's. The foam smelled like just a ordinary like frat party keg beer. This one does not. This one still smells delicious.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
very
I can't wait
fruity,
to try it.
Very fruity and a floral. Yeah, it was definitely they hit it on the head. It's really good, and I feel like that adds so much to beer.
Oh, it does.
Especially like now that I've gotten into like the barrel aging processes and stuff, I can really kind of respect the smells more, because like you can definitely taste something in there that you're smelling, and I think that's why your other beer, your dark lager, mess with my brain so much, because the smell just was completely different than the taste, and I'm just like, how is it doing this? And so my brain was just like, ugh. And then the weird thing is so I had it in my fridge here, and I have little pressurized CO2 growler that is like CO2 fed, so you can like pour it out, and that changed the smell of it too. Like, so I don't know if because those little tiny CO2 cartridges may have an off gassing smell or something.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
So that's kind of interesting too. So I wanted to look into, I saw on Amazon you can get like refillable mini ones, not a refillable, but like you could repressurize it with like another tank. But trying to find any of that stuff and like trying to know what you're looking for is very difficult for me. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I need what fitting? Like, what is this fitting called? Because I'm not like anybody that has anything to do with like plumbing or anything like that. So I don't know what any of these fittings are. So that was kind of a bummer.
I know so I went down that path too, trying to figure out some stuff, and I ended up like joining like homebrew Reddit forum, not forum, but just Reddit itself. And a lot of people are super nice. So if you send pictures like, "Hey, I'm trying to find parts for this," or "I want to build this thing," I'm sure somebody will be like, "Hey, man, you need this, this, and this. You'll be golden." But of
Yeah.
course, you'll probably have other people to give you other ideas as well too. But
Yeah, because
I like that idea. There's one guy at one of my homebrew clubs. That's what he brings. He brings a growler that has a little cartridge on it. And he just serves off of that. Or I just I bring in bottles and crack them open.
yeah, I found those for like $50. They were a 64-ounce growler for like $50, and they came with like all the tap fixins and stuff. So I bought 2 of them. I'm not disappointed because it's nice because I can go get like some of my favorite beers at a place that they don't serve. Like they have very few bottled that you'd have to be there for that day of, but you might be able to find like a keg at some place and they'll fill up your bottle with it or whatever. I've never really gotten anything low ABV in them because it just doesn't seem worth it to like take home something of like, I don't know, not to use Bud Light as an example every time, but of like a Bud Light quality. Like, well, I could just buy that. So like
That's true.
I've never really taken anything like that home. So I don't really know what it's going to do for the lower ABV stuff.
Well, you say that. You may find a place that has beers only come out, like just seasonal beers that you may just want to put on there, So like I want after the fact, like once they're almost gone, I'll have some for another week or so. Yeah, they're really, really cool. I'll probably get one eventually. I have so many other little projects going on. Oh man, I just got the time.
They sell, like somebody is selling an adapter for like normal, the normal, whatever the growlers are. I forget what the glass growler. They have an adapter that screws onto the top and then does all the same stuff. I was going to buy one of those, but that was like $50. And I was like, well, I can get the whole thing for $50, and it's like double walled and it's really nice.
That's really cool, man. So how many different beers have you had in so far?
Had in it? Mainly just the one, and then yours. We do no rules. There was a liquor store that had, I think, 12 taps, and they had no rules on it for like 3 or 4 times we went up there, so we just kept getting that.
Oh, nice.
But they have like they had like 6 or 8 of barrel aged stuff, and then some super heavy stouts. But they had basically like, I don't know, 12 on there all the time of a rotating stuff. So they didn't have so you're supposed to have like a tube that comes off of them to like fill it off to the side so you can kind of gauge how much like head you're putting on it. And like the person that did it obviously hasn't really worked in that kind of a store before, and they just like pulled the thing down and then just let it go. And I'm like, and it was just all foam. So it was like probably like 3 ounces of beer and all foam to the top. So we had to sit there for like 45 minutes while she kept pouring a little bit, and she would like dump some out. I'm like, oh, you're dumping out like precious beer.
Right. So besides this one, have you had any of the other Trappist beers I brought up earlier? Like, have you ever had the Mount St. Bernard or?
I have not. I would like to. Okay. I think that I was thinking like this was going to be our Trappist like of the week, but I would rather just do, because this was a day. I was like, let's just do the day and have this one and then have another one to compare it to.
Right.
To like somewhere down the road, because this isn't it's a good, I would say right now, like spring and fall beer. Like I wouldn't want to drink this in the summertime. It's refreshing, but it's higher ABV, and like the higher ABV I don't really want in the summertime. I don't want to like, because I would just get hot and sweaty with any of the super high ABV beers.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I usually try to drink a little lighter. But I mean, if I'm in the basement, I ain't going nowhere. It doesn't bother me to crack one of my heavier beers open and drink one of those. Yeah, dude, it's delicious. I can't wait. I would definitely want to try. I'm probably have to do some research. I have a hard time saying this. I think it's called Rochefort is what it's called. I like to get some of those and maybe mix in some Saint Bernards and find similar styles and try to do get 2 bottles and get like 2 doubles if they make them, and maybe 2 triples if they make them, and just try to compare and contrast. Because I can't do 3 in one sitting. That's just too much. But 2 I can probably handle.
No, we could do like a very special episode where we try and compare like a few of them, and because I wouldn't I don't know. I guess it's if we just open them separately and we just have to drink them side by side and like let it go. But I think that would be kind of a fun like taste test. There are a few other beers like we we have our list that keeps growing of what we want to do. And it's been fun trying all these different things. And then when a day pops up, it's like, all right, well, let's go do that. But I've spent more time at the like beer store in the last like 2 months than I have in like the entire year. So that's not a bad thing, obviously, but
so much stuff to choose and try.
But that's what I'm like, I kind of want to like start like looking into it. And that's where I would love to get like suggestions from like viewers and stuff on like what are their summertime go-tos.
Yes, it's coming up around the corner and some of them are starting to hit the shelves. So yeah,
because my wife really likes. Do we have one? Oh, I forget what it's called. Summer Shandy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's the
a long L word.
Leinenkugel. Yeah, but it's shorts. No, soft braid. Yeah, soft braid Summer Shandy, and that's like a super sweet variant of it. I can have one of them and it's decent, but then after that I'm like, oh, it's the same thing I do with like, and I think that it would be kind of fun to like go into some of the more well-known ciders, like comparing a Strongbow versus like even like some of the like more common US ciders and stuff too, and that would be a good summer. Yeah, Angry Orchard. The only way I can drink Angry Orchard, it depends on which one it is, because there's the super sweet one, then there's the dry one, and all the other kind of stuff. But I like to put a shot of Jack Fire into it, and that's awesome. They call it like an Angry Ball. If you do Fireball and that, they call it Angry Ball, and that's really delicious. It just gives it like that cinnamon kick.
So I guess this winter, since we're just talking for the moment, like we got to revisit the Hershey's Porter and Screwball.
That was good. That was really good.
Was really... So before we wrap up this episode, always I try to come up with some type of recipe, and this one I actually took from someone else, because if I were to make one, I would use his recipe, and it's from Martin Keene. He used to have the homebrew challenge on YouTube, but now he works for Brew Philosophy. I think that's how you say it. But anyways, he says 9 pounds of Pilsner malt, 1 pound of candied sugar, 1 pound of aromatic malt, which I'm not sure what that is. I've not used anything like that, so I would have looked that one up. 1 ounce of Tettnang hops, which is more of a spice, more on the spicy side. So that I guess I should back up. This would make a triple beer. That's what I'm going for. 1/2 ounce of Saaz and another 1/2 ounce of Saaz. Again, I have a hard time forking over, $14-15 for liquid yeast. I know I say that a lot, but he recommends using the Trappist Ale White Labs. But I found a dry yeast called Abbey Belgium yeast, which is just a dry variant, which is like half the price. And then just like, mash it in at 152 degrees for 60 minutes and then boil for 60 minutes. And just kind of go from there. And
that's going to make how much?
This will make 5 gallons.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah, this will make a 5-gallon batch. I guess in the future, I'll start doing percentages as well. I think maybe a little bit easier. Because some people like to use like brewing software programs, and they just rather go by percentage than actual poundage. I like going by ounce by the quarter pound, I guess. I can buy quarter pounds. It's easier that way.
We have a Discord that we're starting up too, and we could, if people are interested, they can join it, and we could post all of your brew information on the Discord channel too. I think that would be a really helpful link if people are trying to get to it, especially stuff that you're brewing currently or have brewed in the past. That once we get to those taste tests,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah. Speaking of brewing, hopefully tomorrow I'll be brewing my first American light lager, so we'll see how that goes.
Yep. Yeah, I think that I would like to try that. I don't know if it's going to last that long, but the pressurized brewing system, I'd like to kind of see some of that information and stuff like that, and kind of get into that. As far as I guess we could do that whenever we do your our American light lager episode. Sure.
Most definitely. Like we always say, have a pint with your pals.
Yep. Drink responsibly, or
that's you.
Irresponsibly, as long as you're at home.
Great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.
you you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
Exactly. All right, you guys have a good one.
Yep.
See ya.